Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, which means it's our Monday video, and today we are going to be doing some fun little test things for you to kind of figure out how cool and amazing your body is and how your brain works on a day-to-day basis. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because chiropractic, at its essence, is all about removing interference so that the body can get back to doing what it's supposed to do. And with that, the brain itself can be affected by the smallest little thing and can change how the whole system works. So I'm going to kind of show how chiropractic's related to these cool little brain mechanisms that we have that work on a day-to-day basis that you don't even realize what's happening. Now I have a few different things here. Got my safety cap on because we're getting a little bit fun today. So some basic things that you might have even done back in grade school, simple tests is we're gonna use this paper, okay? So I want you at home, if you have one, I want you to draw a piece of paper like this. It may be reversed for you, but when you're looking at it, I want you to have the cross on your left and the dot on your right through there. So this, I want you to do that. So do that first and put that to the side. What we're also gonna be doing now is, I'll take this glass of water and this book, place it here so you can see. We're also going to be showing you how the brain works on a day-to-day basis on your vision as well. So the brain is really smart and has to change and adapt to the things that are happening in our body all the time. Now a good example of this is with our eyes. So hopefully this is high enough, hopefully you guys can see this all correctly, but imagine this glass jar is your lens, okay? So say let's go this way. See this arrow? It's pointing to my left. Hopefully you guys are seeing this on the left as well. This is what we see. What actually is happening through our lens, so if this is a lens, is actually going into our brain and it's going the opposite direction. Obviously it's turning this way, but you can see how it's now going this way. The importance of this is that this signal is coming into the brain. It's signaling everything's happening on the right. But the brain is smart, it knows, and it's adapting to what's happening with the lens here in the eye. And what it does, it obviously reverses it to see what we see. You can get a whole philosophical conversation about this, but this is how the brain kind of works in an essence of like that. So this is just called refraction, simple scientific term through here, but this is kind of a good example of how your body works. Now, many of you might have seen a test like this before. Now we're gonna start getting into some things where the body, how the brain works, in particular with the spine as well. So you have your typical picture here. Nice, you see lots of spots and checkers and a nice green box there. Now, on here we have A and we have B, okay? So obviously on our vision right now, it looks like A is darker than B. So the top square, let me get that closer, is darker than the lower square. Many of you have done this before. Many of you know what the answer is. The answer is they're both exactly the same, and I'll show you this through here. Two little dots, exactly the same color. They cover on the A and B section through there. And the reason for this is, it's very important as well, is that the brain, what it sees, or through the eyes, it kind of creates a picture for what's happening out there. And it's a great survival mechanism through there as well. But obviously, what it's looking at, the fake shadow is kind of making this look a lot lighter than this one through here. So what your brain does, it takes all information from around the whole picture and then tells you what's happening through there. And that's no different than the spine. So for instance, let me just move this water, I'll end up spilling it. For instance, your spine through here has a bunch of little muscles running along it through here, called your paraspinals. They're not so much for movement, they do a little bit of stability, but they're also mainly for proprioception. So what actually happens is that your spine needs to move. Simple as that, your body needs to move, your spine needs to move. Actually, I believe it's 60% of all proprioception comes from the spine in your body, and your brain requires movement in order for you to get nutrition as well. So about 9% of that comes from movement. Goes to the brain. So with that as well, so if your spine's not moving, so in order for those muscles to work and the brain to understand, they need to be moving, the muscles need to shrink and expand. It has to be some type of input going to the brain. If it's not moving, there's no input going to the brain. So for instance, I'm gonna over-exaggerate things here so you guys get a better idea. Say it's really stuck over to the this side or on this side through here, and that's not moving. But everything above and below is. What the brain does, it creates a picture along the spine to kind of figure out where those segments are. So it may be right, it may be slightly off, but what happens with that, it sends the signals up to the brain. The brain's like, oh, don't know what's happening, create a new image. And the brain is a very interesting organ where it takes everything. So it takes what we see, what we smell, what we taste, our senses, our internal senses, our proprioception, and creates a picture of our body. We'll call it a mental image, but it creates this image in our body. And then what it does, it sends the signals back out, telling the body what it needs to do. So for instance, if you need to move your arm, or if you're touching something hot, you need to move it. Or if you're digesting food, it takes all that information and then that happens. But if your spine is not moving the way it should, and it's stuck, causing abnormal signals going up to the brain, it will send signals down that may not be accurate. So it'll send signals down that may tell your body. A good example is a joint position sense, so that proprioception. So closing your eyes, knowing exactly where your hand is in space, marching on the spot with your eyes shut, with your arms out, called Fukuda's test is a good example of this as well. It can affect how we move and how we sense and how our whole system works as well. So there's a really, what you can do is obviously make sure your spine is moving. That's the big thing. And when it's stuck in that position, it actually creates a feedback loop as well. So not only that it's stuck in a position like so, the brain kind of starts creating neurons for that new position, and then it's harder to break out of. So any type of workouts that you do, any type of stretching that you do, it won't be able to shake it unless you put an input into the nerve system trying to clear out that. And that's what chiropractic is all about. This here is called sensory motor integration through the brain. There's other things you can do as well to kind of do there. Now, the blind spot that your brain's kind of picking up and making up, a good test that you can see to do that is this. So, if this is the right way for you, I want you to draw on a piece of paper a plus on the left-hand side and a circle or a dot on the right. There we go, that way. So what I want you to do now, I want you to shut your left eye and just look at the triangle here. And I want you to have the circle in your periphery. Don't focus on it, I want you to focus on the thing. And you'll get to a point where the circle disappears, okay? That's because there's a blind spot in your vision. So what actually happens, because the optic nerve is at the back of the eye, it creates a nice little inner field of vision, a nice little blank spot that you can't see. So what it does, obviously, just like what's happening in this book here, with fraction, it creates an image about what's happening in the area. So obviously, all it sees is white paper around, so it just kind of goes white, and that's what happens. Yeah, I hope you guys got a little bit out of this. Big thing that you should take away from this is some cool science experiments. If you have kids, really cool to show them. But also, with your body, you need to take care of it. You need to make sure that everything is doing what it's supposed to do. And the spine is no different. We as chiropractors, we check the spine for these areas called subluxations. These subluxations are those areas that are stuck, the body can't process, and sending wrong signals back out through there. Chiropractic is as simple as that. Once your body's back in balance and alignment, your body will work better. All right, so have a great Monday. I'll see you guys all next week. And just a reminder, the 13th of February is our next Coffee and Canvas, so make sure you get your tickets for that before they're all gone. All right, see ya.